Hey guys, what's going on? Super Deathbot here with another review for you. This is the Toys R Us exclusive Marvel Legends Dark Phoenix and Cyclops pack, and I was really excited when they announced this, and the fact that I was actually able to find some at retail. And let's get into it, because I think it is a really awesome pack. So I'll start off with, I got this pack primarily for Phoenix, and I think I like Cyclops as much as I do Phoenix. She probably edges out a little just because the amount of head sculpts she comes with and how good they did, but Cyclops, I think, kind of came in. I had not many expectations for him, and he ended up being pretty cool. So from a distance here, you can see it better. The light blue to the transition to dark blue, they actually did a nice dry brush over the paint, which we don't always get with solid color figures. Sometimes we get a little wash in between, but they actually did a really nice job on this in transitions, and it highlights well in photos and lighting. So I'm going to start with Cyclops, and then we'll move on to Phoenix and see all the awesome stuff she comes with. So as always, I like to go over paint and sculpt first, and then we'll hit the articulation. Well, you know what I think I just noticed, guys? My Cyclops, I was actually playing with a different set earlier. This Cyclops has his abs on his back. So, I guess quality control, not the best, but I do have a spare set, and I'll see if I can fix this, but that's actually hilarious. But also kind of sucks, because this isn't a hard, expensive figure to find. But anyway, the paint and sculpt on him is really good. I like the head sculpt. I think it doesn't really look like anyone, but it looks like Cyclops. The visor is sculpted very clean, and the red is painted in there very nicely. The body is a good sculpt. The boots are sculpted pretty nicely, and other than him pretty much being ass backwards, which, that's kind of a bummer. And, you try to do this review to show that it's a cool figure, and I really enjoyed it, and he has his stomach on backwards. Now, let's take this other set out again, and if you can see here, Cyclopses do come with their abs where they're supposed to be sometimes, and the other 4 or 5 sets did. So I'm glad that I inspected those ones, and my buddy's got good ones. That's really disappointing. The articulation is pretty good on him, though. His head goes pretty far down, and it also looks to the sky pretty well, especially for someone who needs to be, looking up at a sentinel or something like that. Standard, shoulders line up horizontally with the chest. Obviously, if you rotate the shoulder and bicep and all that, you can get the arm a little higher, lifting the elbow. He has bicep swivel. He has double jointed elbows. He has ab/back crunch. It's probably why his back goes a little farther than his abs, because they're reversed. He has movement in the wrist, left and right, but nothing really up and down. He's got waist swivel. Legs go about this far. Thigh swivel. Double jointed knees. He has calf swivel. And he actually has a lot of ankle rocker, like some serious broken ankles there. So you can get him into some really good poses, and he does have really clean paint. So if you can find one whose abs are not on his back, he's a solid figure. I have seen many of them, and they're really good. So I really enjoy him. Here he is next to 90 Cyclops, which I think I like the design for better, but overall I like this figure a little bit better. So that is Marvel Cyclops, and we will now move on to Pheonix, or Dark Pheonix. So this is obviously a repaint of the Pheonix figure we got maybe a year ago, sooner, a little later, I don't know. But they did a nice job on it. The sculpt is really good, and she comes with 3 head sculpts, and they're all really awesome. I mean, the sculpt is good, the paint is good, everything is clean. They're starting to make the plastic out of maybe like a little bit more matte or satin plastic, and that translates to better photos instead of everyone having this glossy face. She's got a good wash in her hair, and they did a really nice job. The thing that bothers me about a lot of these figures is this plastic. Whatever they're molding this in, I mean, this leg looks horrendous. It looks like it's got kind of like chunks missing out of it, but it's just that swirly, translucent. If you're going for like that ethereal look, then I kind of get it, and I guess this character you could say could have that, but they do it on a lot of figures, and I don't like it. I don't like it at all, especially because they paint the burgundy over it, and then the burgundy here is a different color than here, and then the yellow painted on this burgundy is a different color than this. I really wish the body was casted in burgundy and then the yellow painted over it so everything could be an even, clean color. But, alas, we are talking about $20 figures. So, the paintwork, other than that, the lines are pretty clean. There's a little bit of wash or dry brush over the body to give it some shadow and stuff like that. So, not bad. They gave a little phoenix on her belt/sash here. And overall, not a bad paint job. The head sculpts, though, are painted very nicely. The articulation is that of a standard female Hasbro figure, which I wish they would do a little bit better on, because there are a lot of girls that I love in the Marvel Universe, but sometimes pass on the figure because they're not a lot of times great figures. And I know Hasbro has said they don't make a lot of girl figures because they don't sell well, but you guys also don't make them the best that they could be as you do on some of these other figures. Now, even though this body has been used a few times, for some reason, the articulation on this one seems a little bit better. My biggest problem is I wish they gave female characters double-jointed elbows. You know, she's a character that uses a lot of telekinesis, or like the Pheonix is taking over her mind, and you'd want to be able to like grab her head and stuff like that, and you can't. This is what she can do, and she looks like, you know, Iron Man 1 throwing up gang signs. And I don't love that. So that's a little disappointing on the Hasbro female bodies. She's got pretty good motion in her upper torso, left and right, front to back. She has pretty good motion. Her head, depending on which head sculpt you have on, can move, but this one with the hair down moves left to right a lot better than it does back and forth. She has thigh swivel. She's got the double jointed knees. Her foot goes down actually really far, so that's cool for flight poses and stuff like that. And then it doesn't really go up, but she has a lot of ankle rocker, so that's always nice. No additional hands or anything like that, but for all she comes with, I think she's a really, really solid figure. So this is the first head sculpt. It's like sweet Mary Jane, sweet Jean Grey. You know, you just met her, and then we got like a few months into it, little edgy, little sass, you know, goes and sees Logan instead of Cyclops, you know, that kind of edge. And then we finally get this head sculpt where she's like full blown, 2 years in, she's cray cray. I really dig all of the head sculpts. I think they did a really, really nice job on them. A lot of customizers I know usually redo girls' hair and stuff like that because they don't make them as nice as they could be. And a few of them I'm talking to have said that, you know, they actually like this hair and they don't really need to do that much to it. Add a few wisps here there, but overall, Hasbro kind of did a really good job on this. The sculpt, as you can see, is really nice. There's no paint on the teeth. The eyes are painted. There's no like wandering eye or anything like that. Overall, just a really, really good job on all 3 head sculpts. Now, I'm going to switch her over to the final head sculpt, and the accessory that she comes with. And I think this is really, really what like makes this set worth having. I mean, I think it's a cool set regardless, but this really sold it for me. So I think what they did here was really, really awesome. This head sculpt and this accessory, just so cool. The translucencies, the I guess I can't say paint because I don't know if it really is paint, but just the transition from darker to lighter on the plastics is really cool. So we'll go over the bird first because it does have a little trouble staying on her arm in certain positions. The sculpt work on it is pretty good. You get a lot of detail in it. They did, I think, a nice job with the flow, with the curling tail and the wings wisping up to look like fire. You get the eye in there, and you know, the profile of it is really cool. I think they did a good job, and maybe combining this with some Tamashii Nations fire effects or that old Toy Biz Jean Grey fire effect will be a really nice touch. So overall, the accessory I think is really, really awesome, and it does match pretty much the color of the translucencies and transition on her hair. So that's really cool. As you can see in this lighting, the hair is very translucent and it looks very nice, but if you even take a secondary light, you can see that it really, really, really can shine, you know. For a lot of photography and things like that, if you have some backlighting and maybe like a darker foreground, you'll get some really, really, really cool effects. And even though it's darker up here, it is translucent all the way through with some paint over it, so you get some really, really, really nice stuff going on there. Even though it's the same head sculpt as the one I just showed you, I do like that they added the black around the eyes, the black around the lips, and she doesn't have pupils. They're just the Pheonix. And you know, maybe a few years ago we might not have got that. We might have just got the same head sculpt, maybe with some translucent hair or something like that. So I do like that they stepped up. They gave you 3 different head sculpts. They gave you the Pheonix accessory, and they made some of the parts translucent, which I think came out really, really nice. So if you can find this figure set for retail, I would say go ahead and pick it up for sure. I think that both figures are... Oh, my bad, guys. I think that both figures are really awesome. Obviously, check your Cyclopses so that you don't have an ass-backwards one as well. And hopefully you can score one at retail. I am getting a little tired of the scalper prices going online for $80, $90, $100, you know, a week after these things come out. Everyone's rushing around looking for them, and you can't find them because someone went in there and bought all of them and trying to sell them for $100. I'm guilty of going in there and buying 4 or 5 of them when I saw them, but I gave them to all my buddies who are looking for them for retail. I do have one extra which I might sell, which you could find on Instagram if I do sell. But I usually try and keep stuff within $5 or $10 of retail just to cover shipping and the box and stuff like that. So never trying to, you know, hit home runs on people, but not trying to lose money when I sell something either. I will be posting some stuff up for sale, and this might be one of the things. So if you want to check out my Instagram, it's SuperDeathBot. So I hope you guys enjoyed. My next review, I think I'm going to do some custom beat-em-up army builder stuff I did. A little bit different than just reviewing some figures, and I already shot a few other reviews for some stuff too, so I will have those uploaded to you shortly. As always, guys, thanks for checking out. Any comments or questions or anything I missed, any suggestions that I could work on a little bit, let me know. Thanks guys so much.